Enjoy the show, everyone!
Well, we hope you do enjoy the show, everybody. Thank you and welcome to the Heed Army podcast. Before we go any further, of course, it's on a couple of times already. Thank you to our sponsors, Northern Print Solutions, and our partners at Hope and Glory, who we will be reaching out to for the 18th of April, as a little hand comes in there, for the 500th celebration, which is the start of the GFC Hall of Fame. And as I say, we'll advertise that all the way through. I'd say we've got a little bit of graphics here. There you are. Look at that at the Saltwell Club. I think that picture's from many years ago, but as I say, that's by the by. But lads, we have a win to talk about. Steely isn't here, obviously, at the moment. He's joined us late, but we are joined by the glorious Mark Carruthers. And as I say, what a difference a win makes, everybody, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Possibly the most Gateshead thing ever to go and do it at the place where they never, ever, ever win, which I thought was brilliant. I mean, the performance, it wasn't perfect, let's be honest. There was still, and Rob would be the first to admit that, but it was, I think what you saw was a culmination of little bits of improvement throughout Rob's time. Well, since he's come back anyway. Defensively, I thought really good, really good. Looked a threat going forward. I thought Mark Beck was, you can see how big he's going to be.
Yeah, he was
the rest of the season, giving you that sort of presence up front, experience up front. But I just thought a really good team performance, and as you say, finally a win, something to build on.
Yeah, I mean, that's to say, Mickey, you were watching it in the Legion Club, and I mean that was spoke on the phone obviously since then. But there was some notable performances. I mean, as Mark said there, you could see the improvements in certain areas, but as a whole, they worked as a unit. They battled things out. Things weren't perfect, we know that, but in a relegation battle, they never are. But there was some star players I thought that stood out that I think deserve special mention. I thought Fenton John, particularly in the first half, was absolutely outstanding. Jacob Butterfield looked like he was rolling back the years since he had a midfield around him doing their job and helping him out. It released him. He looked, didn't look his age, which is not to say that he's an old man, but in football, yes. It was just as I say, obviously the icing on the cake was the win, but it was a performance to be proud of.
Definitely, I thought it was the perfect away performance. Actually, they've got to kept it tight. I mean, first off, especially Halifax didn't have too much on goal. The goal where they scored, I think the man who ran through was offside as well, and we just battled it out. And it was a cracking 3 points, at least for what Mark said before. I was starting to heavy earlier. It's just so great to go somewhere where we haven't won for 26 years.
Yeah.
A run of 16 defeats or 16 games now to win, whatever it is. And you got in Halifax where you've never won, and you can come back with 3 points.
I mean, you couldn't have wrote it any better, really, could you? But I mean, we talk about going down there. Yes, it's a bit of a hoodoo, and they are a very good side. They've got a striker that scored 20 goals this season. Much probably to our disbelief in Will Harris, but we kept him quiet on Tuesday night. You wouldn't have known he was in the game. I thought the shape and the pressure that we put on off the ball was fantastic. It was, I don't want to compare it to Gateshead of old because this is the Gateshead that it is now. You can't, it's you've got the past's in the past, but you can see the foundations are starting to come back. And it was just the tonic we needed. But it was, as I say, their goal. You can debate whether it was offside or not. We got a little bit rocky after it, but up until then, for much of the game, we're not going to say cruise control because there was a couple of slips, but it was a great result against a side that's chasing for the playoffs.
I think so. I mean, just putting one over Halifax does me.
Yeah.
I mean, how many? I forgot. I don't know how many times I've beaten the Shay. I didn't get this time. And every time we've either been leading or threw it away, or we've been battered, or we've drew now teach. You've come away thinking, oh, I mean, was it Jordan Preston scored past William? We all thought it was our way for Will Harris, didn't we? To be fair. But I'm glad he returned back to his way he played at Gateshead. So
Yeah, that must be the Gateshead badge that makes him be a little bit disappearing in the game. But no, look, that lad's all joking aside, he's having a fantastic season, and there's a lot of clubs looking at him. But that's testament to the back line for keeping him quiet, because he didn't get a sniff, and that's the thing you've got to say, because you look at that back line now; it's starting to have games together. Radcliffe's come in, looked fantastic. We're seeing Kenton get more and more minutes as well. That's positive. Joe Grayson was back on the bench. So yeah, it's really hard. Obviously, it's exciting that we're giving ourselves a fighting chance. Obviously these next two games, which we'll get into soon, are very, very important. But we've got that first step on the ladder, and hopefully we can get our hand on the next bit and lever ourselves up the table. But just before we go any further, obviously, having a look, there is people on the travel already. Look at that. We've got someone at Land's End already with their flag out. So, as I say, it's a mammoth travel. Yeah, I know the team have already set off today to give themselves good preparation for being down there, not being leggy. So they're giving themselves the best possible preparation. So if you're going down, let us know. And also as well, if you have seen this, there was a tweet went out today, and this is from... I can't see the tweet. Can you see it on your screen? Yeah, it's for the... why is it not there? On my screen, it's not there. Hopefully it is for you. But of course, is it Sky Bet are given there's a £921 behind the bar for the 900 for £1 for every mile travelled. So there is details if you go on the Gateshead Twitter and Facebook. There's a post on the website about how you can take advantage of that. Because if you've travelled that far, you definitely deserved a wet one when you get there, whether it's alcoholic or not. So yeah. It's going to be a fantastic, as I say, it looks like it's going to be a fair few going down, actually.
Well, I've spoken to loads who are actually going. I mean, I think Stuart and Steve the Pirates setting off tomorrow at 20 to 9.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be a long old slog. But, I mean, the trip back from, and this is live footage from outside the bus of at Halifax. It's not AI at all. But, as I say, the two goals that I want to talk about, obviously, Kenton's, he was in the right place at the right time, but that man, Mark Beck, was a real calm head up there throughout the game. He was composed, he held it, he wasn't bullied, he wasn't anything. He was his own man up top, and I think having that calm influence up there really helped the players around him. And of course, Kenton stayed up and poked home. You might say it was an easy one for him, but you had to be in the right place at the right time. But Mark was up there making life difficult for the defence, and obviously getting the penalties. I noticed Billy Chadwick had a hold of the ball. He wasn't getting that off Mark Beck. you couldn't argue with that one.
The thing is, like, both players that scored, it was quite fitting they scored, because their presence in the team throughout the rest of the season is going to give Gateshead such a better chance of staying up. Particularly Kenton, because Kenton just gives you something a little bit different at the back. There is that leadership, there is that experience, there is that comfort on the ball as well. And with Beck, I mean, like I said earlier, just the managing the game has been a problem, I think, for Gateshead this season throughout, and that's what's cost them points in games when they really should have taken at least one. But I just think with Mark Beck up front, being able to hold the ball up, being able to do all that sort of stuff and just ease the pressure on the defence, because, again, I think that's been an issue throughout the season, is that the ball has just been coming back too easily. And I think with Beck up there, I mean, you're going to have to manage him a little bit, and make sure he's... Same with Kenton, to be fair, given he's still coming back from an injury layoff. But I just think, look, there's been a lot of negativity about the club this season, and a lot of negativity about performances and results, and a lot of it is completely understandable. There are, questions to be answers that are being or will be asked and are being asked. But since Rob and Louis have come back in, I sensed at day one there was a massive difference in just that feeling you got when you walked into the stadium. Everyone's fully aware how difficult this is going to be the rest of the season. But at the same time, look, even if and I'm not saying it will, but even if the worst comes to worst and they don't stay up, there are still plans being put in place that will benefit the club for longer term.
Yeah.
I just feel now, though, having got that win, even if they don't get anything on Saturday, they will now be in a place, to have a really good go at staying up.
Well, as I say, we talk about confidence a lot in football, and we know what it's like, especially when we're on in previous seasons when we've been on the up. But to have that back, you could see after the game that the team spirit was there. It was a relief. It was a weight off the shoulders, and I think it'll free up some players as well. I think some of the younger players, I felt at times like Josh Home come on and played with a bit of freedom. When he came on, obviously couldn't get that shot away, and he couldn't lay it off to Amanchi at the end. But he come on and he was looking up, got his head going forward. Fenton John's another one at the moment who seems to be just enjoying his football, and we're seeing that on the pitch. The first 20 minutes, I thought he was unplayable. The space he was looking up, passing the ball before he even got it. It was a joy to watch, and I just think this now can hopefully really, as you say, there's no guarantees, but it's going to put them in a place where they know they can see a game out. Maybe they might have to do it dirty, like they had to do it at Halifax. Maybe look the backs of the wall, put it into touch, but they're capable of doing it. They know they can hold out. It's not a sieve at the back.
I think one of the players you mentioned, I'm pleased you did in Fenton John, because I actually think Fenton's done all right this season.
He has.
I think for his first season as a National League player, having played in the Northern Premier League, is what I was going to say, with sort of Stockton and Morpeth, to step into this level and play on a consistent basis, I think he's done really well in a struggling side. However, what I will say is having the Butterfields of this world back in the side and having experienced players alongside him, Sam Bowens and players like that who've played at this level, you'll probably see an even better Fenton John, because he's not carrying the expectation of the midfield. He's not carrying the weight of responsibility in midfield. He can be a young player just developing and just, enjoying being a National League footballer. There's a few players like that, though, I think, where they just need to get back to playing. I think you look at the back sort of 4, back 3, whatever it'll be, on Saturday, there's a nice balance there now, and there is a need to just keep building, building slowly, no matter what the result is. Put the trust in the management team and just keep building.
But you mentioned at the back there as well, and someone that I haven't really mentioned from Tuesday night was David Ferguson. I thought had a fantastic game at the back. I don't want to compare him to other players, but like that Robbie Tinkler-esque, just sitting in the middle of the back three, and he was, he was calm and composed and did very well. But now you've got obviously Joe Grayson back on the bench. We've got Kenton back. And Louis Story will be back from injury. There's scope now to, if we get a little knock, we can preserve a player. There is going to be players in reserve. Now we've got that freedom of maybe a little bit of squad rotation. Obviously I know they'll not want to rotate it too much and keep the side as it is, but to have that now, especially on the back of a win and players coming back, it's all setting up in a nice way. Whether it turns out the way we want it to or not is a different matter, but they've got the best possible chance.
Well, I think so. I think Ferguson's been, since the new players are coming, I think Ferguson's been looks a hell of a lot better with a few better players around him for the start. I'm going to go back before I go forward. Josh Home, I'm one of Josh Home's biggest critics, but I thought he'd done absolutely superb when he come on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
He done absolutely brilliant. He chased everyone down. He tackled and he broke forward. And if Levi Amanchi had a football brain on the night and stayed on side, we might have got a third goal. But it wasn't to be. But Brad Nicholson, for me, and Mark Beck have been absolutely superb since they've come in this door.
Yeah.
I think, just jump in, Debbie. I think I said on commentary on Saturday, didn't I, that, or maybe before the game, Brad Nicholson seems to me like a bit of a tone setter. So, like, in a kind, and I'm not saying that he is as good as Luke or someone like that, but in a way that Luke would give the side energy and take the game to an opposition. I feel as if Brad's possibly a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Where he does,
They can feed off his energy when he wins a ball.
Yeah, and he will put a tackle in that'll get people going. He will, go and head a ball clear that needs to be headed clear to get the crowd going or get his teammates going. And his energy, I think, is just brilliant. I think he's been a really shrewd addition. Obviously, he was on trial with the club a couple of years ago in pre-season, but couldn't sign for one reason or another. But clearly, they've kept him on the radar. I think there's a few players like that where they've been there or thereabouts. I think it was mentioned with a couple of other signings, wasn't it?
I think it's Sam Bowen and Keaton Ward who have gone about their jobs very well as well. They maybe not catching the eye for flair or whatever. I'm sure that'll come because they're both very good on the ball.
Yeah.
But they went about the jobs professionally. They went about it, no nonsense, and just played as part of the unit. And that's the thing. We used to have unsung heroes in the squads before, and I think those boys are really putting in a shift. And as I mentioned before, you can see the benefit that's happening to Jacob Butterfield, freeing him up. As I say, he's rolling back the years, so it's great to have that option there as well, and seeing Jacob enjoying his football, because obviously, remember, he hasn't missed a lot of football this time last year. He had nowhere near coming back. So we've got Chris has put next two games are vital. I know it's a big ask to win both, but we are right back in the survival hunt. Look, these two teams are suffering as well. Someone's got to put a run together down the bottom. Then why can't it be Gateshead? We've got the monkey off our back, and now the real hard work continues. You've got to make it happen. We've got Sean, who joined us last week or the week before, wasn't it? But aye, lads, great show as ever. Get in the heat. As I say, lovely to hear from Sean. We've got some claps to something that we must have been saying earlier on. Also as well, news that broke today, which is a bit of a strange one, like for what we've seen earlier in the week, is that Curtis Edwards has left on by mutual consent, and he's got wonder if there's anything to do with the fundraiser rumour. Well, I believe that was true, the fundraiser, and I'm guessing that would probably be to fund his wages to sign him if he's left our club by mutual consent, and obviously to get him into the country and things like that. So if Curtis Edwards does go back there, I wish him all the best. It didn't really work out that well for him here at Gateshead. The first few performances looked like it was something special, but in a struggling team, I think when you've got a player that likes to have a little bit of I'm not going to say a free roll, he's got a bit of flair, but it just didn't seem to land for him in a Gateshead shirt. But he's obviously played in Sweden before, and I wish him all the best. So,
you must know where he's going next.
Well, Sweden is the rumour, isn't it, that he's got interest in
Darlington as well, isn't it?
Former club. Yeah, obviously he's been at Dalton before, hasn't he? So,
yeah,
we'll see. I mean, look,
the was it Ostrand, the team? They were putting out the GoFundMe thing, the raiser. So it looks like it's probably quite certain he's going to Sweden. So I wish him all the best. Stuart Allen has put here, heading down in the morning to help drink that £921. Get there before him, everybody. We've got, I wonder if the players might get some after the game. Just had a look at the table. We're going to need 4 more results to get anywhere near safety. Yeah, I know, but you've got to get the first one. You've got to get the first one, and we've done that.
Journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.
It certainly does. Setting off early doors tomorrow for Truro. God, there is a fair few going down.
Fair journey.
Sean Coxon has put, Chadwick looks a player mind. Got to keep him in those areas. Yeah, well, as I say, he's another player that, I think once he gets his first goal will hopefully flourish. I know we said that the last time round, but he seems to be a bit more of a team player this time round. Seems to, he's in a role and he's playing that role. Just hopefully we can get some more of the players finding the back of the net. I think the last time we won at the Shay was in the FA Cup, first round back in the early noughties. It was Paul Bracewell's last game as a football manager as well, I believe. I don't think he went on anywhere else after that.
They take the brass the statues down, the bronze statues at Dalton and Tony Hall now.
Yeah, I wouldn't take them down. No longer the folklore. Now it's Kenton and Beck we'll be talking about in 30 years' time, the last when we won there. We've got Mark Beck as Gateshead's Nick Voldemort.
Or
Or
is Nick Voltamada Newcastle United's Mark Beck?
yes, there you go. I think that's what I would say.
I'd probably say the other, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Story back on Saturday, I believe so. Yes, he's missed 3 games.
Which is me to a question.
Yep.
You've got the 3 centre backs now. You've got Joe, you've got Kenton, and you've got Radcliffe. Would you be tempted to put Story in front of the back 4 in midfield? That's the question I'm asking everybody.
I'll let Mark answer first, but on that one, or do you want me to answer first?
Anybody can answer.
It depends.
I think that with the performance of the midfield yesterday to keep with the defence to keep the likes of Will Harris quiet, I don't think you change the midfield at the moment. I think you put the same midfield out. The question is, though, do you rotate the back? Story's fit, hasn't played for a few games. My initial, if they're going to play the 3 at the back, I would maybe drop Ferguson for a game, rest him.
What I would say is that there are some players in that defensive unit, or the options that Rob has, that they are going to have to manage fitness levels. They are going to have to manage game time. So I think 100% get what you're saying, both of you, but it probably is going to be done on a game-by-game basis. You look at Joe Grayson's obviously had a couple of bad injuries this season. I don't think you can expect him to play, 3, 4, 5 games in the space of 20 days or whatever it'll be. It will be purely game by game. So I think it's going to be a lot of squad management from Rob and Louis. You look at next week. I mean, I spoke to Rob yesterday and he was talking about the journey. Sorry, it wasn't. It was after Saturday's game. He was talking about the journey down there and the fact that, they obviously won't get back until, pretty much, 6 o'clock Sunday morning, probably. You'd imagine they'll have Monday off, come in Tuesday for a game on Wednesday. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
And then to have another game a few days later as well. So the schedule's going to be punishing. So there's going to have to be a real sort of careful approach taken to the sort of fitness levels of certain players, the game time, the game load of certain players.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, we're singing the praises of Mark Beck, but you can't, physically for any striker to be putting them up there every game, expecting them to be able to do that type of job is very demanding. So, I think, as Mark says, there probably will be rotation and management in people's fitness. Alan Guest has put, how many games is there till the end of the season? I think is it 18 or 17 left now?
It feels like about 712, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So absolutely years, not a season.
Yeah, it certainly does. Question for you. This one's from Chris. This is for all of us. Do you think Rob Elliott will stay if we get relegated? I would imagine so by the plans that's been put in place.
Well, not just that, but the fact that new signings were signed 18-month deals. Now, they ain't going to sign 18-month deals unless they know who the manager's going to be next season. It would have been, we'll sign until the end of the season, then see what happens.
Yeah.
But everything that I've been told by people at the club, by Rob himself, is that, they're not just planning for the next 3 months, they're planning for years down the line. So I think, without question, I think, even if the worst does come to the worst, then Rob Elliott and Louis Story will still be management team next season.
Definitely. We've got here, let's have a look. Weather forecast for Truro on Friday and Saturday is mild but very wet. Yeah, it's not going to be... it's going to be better than where it has been down there because they've had some torrential weather down in Cornwall. Pardon me. Early days, but still, Rob and the club have done a great job redressing the balance in the squad. Nice to have those opportunities to rotate. It certainly is, and I think it all happened in such of a blink in the eye for us. But I think that what can't be underestimated is the work that's went in behind the scenes from Rob and Louis to get that over the line, and of course with Josh Lucas as well, and other people involved, and Ben, who's in the coaching staff now. It is a massive undertaking that's happened, and I think regardless if we go down or not, the turnaround thus far, of course, looks very, very promising. And effectively, January's been a pre-season, hasn't it, for us? Without having that many games, it has been a training exercise for them. And I think against Boston, was it Boston at home? I think it felt like that as well. When we were just a little bit leggy the first 10, 20 minutes. I think now we've got that, as I say, that weight off the shoulders. Hopefully they can start the game down at Truro on the front foot as well, and implement their game plan like they did at Halifax. Early days, but I've just read that one. Amanchi is looking poor. I hope he gets a goal to boost his confidence. Yeah, as I say, when he come on, it was more about defending the game than attacking the game. So you would hope he was helping defensive duties with his height and everything. So don't get on the lad's back just yet. He's just saying let him get a goal or two, and then we'll see how he gets on. And what else have we got here? I think it's proven the fact the dressing room might have been lost. Well, we can mull over that at the end of the season. Let's concentrate on what's happening now. We need some stability at the back, so don't change unless we have to. Well, yeah, I understand that, but the games are thick and fast, and the amount of travelling that's going to be in the legs this next couple of weeks, I'd say rotate a little bit. You got to remember, even if you rotate, you've still got 5 centre backs that have played at least 20 games in for the club. In some guys, I mean, obviously Radcliffe's played, and Ferguson's got a wealth of experience and can play at the back all right. So yeah, I'm not too upset about changing 1 or 2 players at the back, because I think they're all well drilled into what they have to do. Why fix something when it isn't broken? I understand that, but I think as Mark said, the games that are coming are going to be quite physical. We have got the poll. I haven't put it up. This poll next week will be the first round of the public vote for the Gateshead FC Hall of Fame. So we'll put up the first bracket. We'll put up I'll make a full graphics for it, and we'll do over the next few weeks the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and the final of who will be in the Gateshead FC Hall of Fame. But tonight, hashtag win or hashtag loss, hashtag draw or hashtag, no, we won't have frozen. It's not going to be frozen this week. So let us know in the chat or scan the QR code and have a little vote and see how this game, how you think this game is going to be this weekend. Right, and while we're talking about the obviously there it is there, obviously the Saltwell Club, the tickets will be available soon. Hopefully we'll have them printed for the Morecambe game, if not be the first home game after that. There probably will be some available at the Saltwell Club as well. And as I say, we're still working on getting prizes, and if you do know anybody or a local business that might have something they might want to donate to the raffle to raise money for the foundation and the support society, please do get in touch. It really does go a long way. And hopefully we can have a great night at the Saltwell Club, and that's after the Woking game on the 18th of April. The comments are still flying in, so thank you very much. We've got our good friend Tracy. She's put, unbelievable what happened on Tuesday, and also proof men can multitask. My husband just made my dinner while watching the podcast, darts and curling. So, yeah, he's some boy, Ian, doing all that, and obviously settling to life in Wooler up there. I like Wooler. It's a nice. Have you been there before, boys?
I've been through it. I haven't stayed there.
It's quite nice. It's quite nice. We've got a chance to go on a run on Saturday. Yeah, but you've just got to get that game out of the way and get through it. One second. If Elliot does leave, Mickey want word written in since he's out of a job?
Well, bring him home, yes. Why not?
Yeah. A little diplomatic in your old age, Mickey. Support was amazing. 36 down Halifax on Tuesday night. It was. You could hear it on the commentary, and they say lovely to see the fans able to shake the hands of the players after a win. Instead of the condolences and the sorries, it was a get in. So fantastic to see. Oh, look at this. We've got we've got Ben Ryan off. I wonder if he's back in the country or if he's still in Australia. Bring back Sam Kitchen and Paul Proudlock, lads. I think they'd get in the team. They'd certainly get in there, legends, and also probably, I would imagine, be in the GFC Hall of Fame contendership as well. Yeah, definitely. And we're getting the votes coming in here. There we go. 3 votes in so far. 100% for the win. So keep your votes coming in as the show goes on. Some people starting to put in their predictions there. Just hold your horses, everybody. We'll get into them very, very soon. But Mark, we haven't been able to do commentary in quite a while. We were back on the comms on last Saturday. A frustrating game, must be said. But look, Mark Beck scored a good goal. We kept fighting, kept going into it. I know there was a lot of contentious moments with the referee, but the referee didn't have an effect on the result, I don't feel. But a frustrating afternoon at the Gateshead International Stadium.
So I made a New Year's resolution that I wasn't going to comment too much on officiating, and watching Saturday and then getting home and watching Newcastle's FA Cup game against Villa was a real test of my
Resolve.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, on to that. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say it was good spending another 90 minutes alongside you. I would like to say that, but I'm not going to. But no, look, again, I think the problem was it was just a poor start to the game.
Yeah.
And I think Rob has said it. I think a couple of players said it as well. They left themselves with too much to do. Simple as that. Now, I think if they go in 1-0 down, I think they'd probably come out and win the game, if I'm honest. I think they come out and get a goal. Once they get one, if they get level, I think Gateshead will go on and win the game. It felt too easy first half.
Yeah.
For them. It felt as if they weren't having to work for chances.
As I mentioned a little bit before, do you think that was down to not having that many games and just trying to get ourselves up to speed?
It could be, but again, it just could be that players just didn't perform in the first half.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Exactly.
you don't go looking for excuses or anything like. You just say that they didn't perform. But then whatever was said at half time in the dressing room, there was a little slight tactical tweak from Rob and Louis, and they looked better second half. Again, I think if the goal comes a little bit earlier, then maybe they would have gone on to get a draw. But yeah, I mean, it probably showed where Gateshead are at right now, I think. It showed that there are still kind of deficiencies that are being worked on, but there are still positive signs as well, and it would be foolish to ignore those positive signs and get too carried away with the negatives.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where my mind's at with a number of football clubs at the moment, where there are positives that people are just ignoring because they're trying to find negatives, and I can't get my head around that. But I think the club, and Rob has said this, is in a better place now than it was, say, 2 months ago. I think the squad certainly is. And there's still a need for patience. This is still a new-look squad. It's still adapting to different methods from Rob and Louis. But again, everything they're doing is just little improvements every single day. And I think you look at what's coming ahead in the next 7 days. If they can take 4 to 6 points from those two games, then you'll really start seeing momentum and confidence grow. And I think that's why the next the next sort of 7 days is huge for the club.
It certainly is.
Confidence is key.
It really is.
If they can get the 3, come out of Truro with 3 points, they'll be flying. Then they've got to right the wrong from the FA Trophy with Morgan.
Without a doubt. We've got Patrick Story sent a message. Any word on Edwards' replacement or any other signings, guys? I've heard nothing. I don't know if Mark's heard anything in the press room.
Firstly, I'd like to know where this press room is.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it warm in there?
also known as the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the one thing you always get is they're always looking.
Yeah.
And if the right player, I sound like a manager myself here. I've been playing too much Football Manager. If the right player comes up at the right price, or an affordable price, fee, whatever, weekly wage, they'll look to bring them in. But the one thing I always get from Rob, and I will have something out on this probably on Saturday, I think it is, they'll only bring in the right characters. They're not going to bring in anyone who will disrupt the dressing room or will be a complete individual. They want players who will come in and be part of the team now, or part of the squad. Now, I go back to Mike and Bustard's time in charge, I go back to Rob and Louis' first spell in charge. I'm around a lot of squads in non-league football, and those 2 periods when they were both flying, that Gateshead dressing room was unbelievable both times. The National League North winning squad I've never seen a squad like that in terms of togetherness, and that sort of carried on after the obviously little difficult start of life in the National League. But that's what Rob and Louis, just as Mike and Busted did, they value attitude and a willingness to be part of the squad probably more than ability, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And also, as you know, there'll be no. They're not shy in telling you that it's about growing the people as well and themselves. So and we spoke about that when we spoke to Rob about what he learned in his time away at Crawley. It's everything's a learning process. Chris, is the Braintree home game being rearranged? It was announced today. It's the 4th of March. It's a Wednesday, which I've noticed being put on a Wednesday night. So I'm guessing that's to try and just get that little bit of extra rest between games, I would imagine, especially the home fixtures that are being rearranged. Steve Farnfield's put the South End away one hasn't been rearranged yet. Can't see given their fixture piled up. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one to find out when that is, if we have a 3-game week. Hopefully not. Might be better defending the lead rather than chasing the game. Getting that early goal against Halifax was vital. It certainly was. Also, as well, we haven't mentioned get well soon to Tyrell Newton. Hopefully it wasn't anything too bad. He pulled up in the first half, and Elliot Wheeler come on. And congratulations to him, by the way. He just signed a contract extension at Oxford, and I'm sure that is down to his performances at Gateshead. So that's well done to Aidan on that. There's a few people just want to say no because of tune clashes in Europe. I don't know if we're looking that far ahead for clashes, but yeah, no, it is where it is. The poll as well as it goes. People still voting if you'd like to. There's a lot of people confident with the win. Hopefully that is what happens. And of course, the tweet that came out earlier on. There it is. It's actually popped up. If you are travelling down 920 miles, they've put £1 behind the bar for every mile down at Truro. That's Sky Bet. So if you have a look on the Gateshead Twitter feed and the Gateshead Facebook, it'll take you a link to the website, and there'll be information on where that pub is and how to get yourself a beverage for the trip. It's a nice little reward. Of course, I know they did the same thing up here at the Fog on the Tyne, so it's nice to see it being replicated for Gateshead fans on the return trip. So, yeah, it's. I'm just glad the weather's all right because it's a lot of money to pay to go down there if it was going to get called off a day before or whatever. So hopefully that's doing all right. We've got Steve Martin, the comedian Steve Martin, of course, but good performance at Halifax, better with the ball, still need to move the ball quicker in possession, travelling tomorrow night from rainy Matlock. I think that's something that we said in commentary as well, wasn't it, Mark, that the shift into the final third wasn't happening quick enough. Those players in position, just that the balls weren't coming. But obviously
this is all stuff that will be worked on, and as much as you can try and do stuff in training, it's a very different scenario in a match day. Mm-hmm. So what you do in training, as much as Gateshead, try and train with the same intensity, nothing quite fits match day like match day.
There's the element of the unexpected as well, isn't there? That can happen.
But you are right. I mean, they just didn't. The ball wasn't being moved quick enough. At times, that was because the opposition were basically sitting in and putting 11 men behind the ball and closing off space, which, that's their problem. If they got into a lead, that's how they play. That's why they've had, over the last few years, one of the best defences in the National League North. We remember the season with the title race when every week was 1-0, wasn't it? 1-0 Brackley, 1-0 Brackley, 1-0 Brackley. They've always had a really good defence. So it's frustrating, but again, I think once this squad really gets into momentum of playing game after game after game, you'll see those improvements. We just hope they come quick enough to make a big impact between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's going to try and make a fight of it. We're expecting Steely to join us shortly. He's been having a meal. He's down in Bath at the moment, visiting family with his partner. So he's got still another 3-hour journey to go for that away game. But it's still not as long as doing it all in one go. We've got the Morecambe and Braintree games if they played on a Tuesday would clash with the Toons up and coming Champions League game. Sorry, I misunderstood that. So yeah. Good point. Very good point on that.
They're not through the last 16 yet, though.
Yeah, well, I think they might be, mightn't they? But as I say, they've obviously been watching how Gateshead play, and that's how they've done.
Gateshead could have beat Carabag first half.
Yeah. From what I hear, I haven't seen the game. Whether that poor or Newcastle that good, that's the question.
Somewhere in between.
They
were good defensively. I mean, some of the mistakes they made were terrible, but Newcastle were lethal in front of goal and punished them duly. So yes, a bit of both.
Well, the prediction league, there has been a bit of movement this week. Joshua Walden is up into second. He's chasing Darcy Gray down. There was a couple other people got their 3 points as well for their predictions this week. So Darcy is still top, Joshua Walden in second, and Trina in third, and Darren Walden in fourth. So if you want to get your predictions in for the next 2 games, we'll be back next Thursday. So if you want to get them in for Truro and for the Morecambe game, please do send them in now and we'll get through them shortly. But, I know even when we were on a bad run, I was always trying to be positive and, get, for the prediction league, you don't want to predict your team to lose. But this, I think that Mark said something earlier on. I think Mickey said it was earlier in the week. If you can get 4-6 points this week in the next 2 games would be absolutely massive and give ourselves a fighting chance, especially against teams in and around us. So I'm going to go for on the back of all of that waffle, I'll go, I'm going to go 2-0 Truro win. 2-0 in Truro and a 2-2 draw with Morecambe at home.
Wow. That's drawn, is that? I'm going to go 2-1 again. And I'm going to say 3-0 to Gateshead against Morecambe.
Oof. There we go. That's not a bad one. Mark, do you want to throw your hat in the ring?
Can I just clarify, you meant Gateshead will win 2-0 at Truro?
Yes. Sorry, yeah.
Because the way you said it sounded as if you were saying Truro were going to win.
Oh, no, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Through us?
Yeah, that's what it was. I'll go 2-2 on Saturday and a 3-1 win on Wednesday.
Ooh, yeah. I'll definitely take any of the predictions so far. Heed Army Adam is going 3-1 win to Gateshead and 4-0 against Morecambe. Put them wine gums down, Adam. We've got St. Geordie has put 2-0 win against Truro, 3-1 win against Morecambe. Ken Webster's going 2-1 win in both games. We do have 2-1 win for Chris at Truro and a 1-1 draw with his Joker against Morecambe. We've got 1-1 draw at Truro, 2-0 win at Morecambe, home to Morecambe, says Colin Scott. We've also got Patrick Story as going 2-1 win to the Heat down at Truro, 4-0 win against Morecambe. And we've got Angel of the North, which is Ian's. He's going 1-0 in the Joker down at Truro and a 1-0 win against Morecambe. So keep them coming in. That's what we want. Keep your predictions. They're all starting to come through. And while we're on, I'll put it on up here so people can see the some of the predictions coming in at the side while we're talking. We've got Trina as going for a 2-1 win against Truro and a 2-0 win against Morecambe. Steve Farnfield, well, here we are, Mr. Positivity. He's definitely back with us. He's got 3-1 win to the Heed against Truro and a 4-2 win against Morecambe. Now, this may be before Mark's time of covering games, but I always remember being the coldest I've ever been at Gateshead International Stadium in a Spalding Cup game that went to extra time and it was freezing. It was snowing. John Young had a plaster on of his toes poking out the end. No sock on the end. That's how hard he is from Roland's Gill. And I swear I was watching his feet progressively get more purple as the game went on. So that's my everlasting memory of Morecambe.
But remember as well, Dave was singing, if you're getting hypothermia, clap your hands.
Yeah, it was absolutely Baltic, and yeah, wasn't a great season, that one. We've got
Do you remember the was an FA Trophy tie against Halifax midweek? I'm sure it went to penalties.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was that was torture. That one
for a number of reasons.
Yeah, that's because you had to sit next to me. We've got Truro 1-0 win at Truro, and 4-3 win against Morecambe. Oh, going for the goals there, Johnny Gray. Fantastic stuff. Of course, we always thank him for doing our prediction league. Sean Parry is going 3-2 win for both games. 1 second. We hope Steely comes in, as I've got a bird question for him. I bet it's about the puffins, because there's a travesty with puffins at the moment with the bad weather. We've got a 3-1 win to Truro and a 1-1 draw with Morecambe, says Stu. Darcy, the girl top of the league, she's going 1-1 against Truro and a 2-1 win against Morecambe. So still time to get your predictions in. We'll be wrapping up shortly. Well, looks like Steely's probably still enjoying his food. He's enjoying them. So, but we'll forgive him. Sorry?
Can you blame him?
No, not really. I mean, to be honest, though, if I was sitting and eating an Italian's, I would rather come and chat with Mark, to be honest, you know. But that's me. Although I daresn't find out what the price is down in Bath, because he said it's quite pricey in there, so I'm wondering how dear that Italian restaurant is. He's probably just eating breadsticks tonight. But yeah, but if you are going down, remember everybody, if you are just joining us, there is some money behind the bar for you when you get down to Truro. So take full advantage of that. Make sure every penny of that is spent in a Gateshead fan's pocket, and hopefully you get a bit of a drink, maybe even food. I don't know if it stretches that far, but as I say, look at the club website, Twitter and Facebook to get you there, and they'll have all the information for you. And apparently it's in the what's behind the bar in the away end. So there you go. So keep yourselves going with that, and hopefully there's a few pints and some.
£50 a pint.
Yeah, that's probably there's probably about 10 pints on offer. So get down, get some straws, share it, everybody. But it should be fantastic. But yeah, I was going to ask Steely the puffin question myself, because there's loads of puffins dying. Did you know? With the bad weather in the seas, because obviously the rest out at sea when they're migrating back, and it's apparently there's been a bit of a massacre out there. So yeah,
we'll do an after dark podcast.
We'll ask him then.
It's been a really positive podcast. You can't end it on puffins dying at sea.
I know.
Hopefully this podcast would that level.
How great has everything been getting that first win and such like? But you know, these puffins. Not that it's not sad, by the way. It's sad. I'm not saying that, but I don't think it'd be right to end a podcast on.
No, it wouldn't. But as I say, I rang Mickey and Steely on Wednesday morning, and I said, "What's this feeling?" It was just nice, wasn't it? It was just I'm not going to say I was overly depressed, but obviously it's not nice when your team isn't winning. But just to have that relief of, we're back in the race. So hopefully,
can I just confirm you rang Mickey and Steely on Wednesday morning to ask them what this feeling is?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
They told us to go to the doctors, funnily enough.
Or get your hands where we see them.
Yeah, apparently it's the first time the Trail of the Lonesome Pine was sang at that Morecambe game. I'm sure it was around before then. We've got we gave out vouchers in, I don't know, I think it must be further on, for Truro for a pint. Yeah, so that's what it'll be vouchers to hand out. So we've got a message here. Yeah, the Morecambe game, the first. It was at a Morecambe game. The first Trail of the Lonesome Pine was sang. So there we go.
I think it was sang away before that.
Yeah, and it's puffing hell at the moment, says Sean Parry. Well, hopefully we'll end on puffing heaven for them, as I say, because Gateshead won, so at least they went out on a happy note. That's the best way I can try and get out of that one. But as I say, it looks like Steely isn't going to be joining us. We'll get his predictions in for for Johnny Gray. But Mark, thank you very much for joining us. Always a pleasure to have you on. Hopefully, going forward next week, we've got another win to talk about, maybe 2. It'll be very nice. But if not, we're still going in the right direction. And them boys are going to give it a good go when they get out there.
I'll be honest, all I'm thinking about is Puffin's dying now. So
yeah. Well,
He missed out on Baku. Wouldn't you think he would have been breaking his neck to go and doing the Truro?
Yeah, you'd think. But on that note, everybody, we're going to say bye, and we're going to leave you with Kenton and Mark Beck giving you a wave goodbye. Bye, everybody.
See you later.